Hey everyone, this is your stimulus update, second stimulus check update, and stimulus package update for Tuesday, July 21st. I'm going to be going over three things in this stimulus check update. First, who is going to be eligible for the next stimulus check? Second, what is the timeline for the next stimulus check? And third, what other provisions are being included in the next stimulus package? If this is your first time to my channel, my name is Justin and I do stimulus updates and give financial advice. If you haven't subscribed already, be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that you're notified each and every time I upload a new video. And I would appreciate it if you hit the like button so that YouTube will share this video with others. So one question I get asked probably more than any other question in my comment section on my videos is, will I be eligible for the next stimulus check? While the next stimulus check is only in proposal form and being discussed at this point, there's no final details, we can go off of what's been told and what's been said about the next stimulus check. First off, there's been a lot of talk about a lower income limit for the next stimulus check. Mitch McConnell talked about a $40,000 income limit potentially for the next stimulus check. And that was based on the fact that those that were making $40,000 per year or less, 40% of them lost their job during the worst of the pandemic and shutdowns. While he has talked about that $40,000 income limit, I don't think that that's going to be a reality. I think the income limit's going to be much higher and probably closer to what the CARES Act income limit was. So if you received the first stimulus check, I do believe you'll be eligible for the second stimulus check. If you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, or VA benefits, I think you will be included in the next stimulus check. Even if that income limit is lower, most of you are below that income limit of $40,000 per year, so you would be included in the second stimulus check. For those of you that make more than $40,000 per year, if you were included in the first stimulus check, I think you're going to be included in the second stimulus check as well. Once again, there's nothing finalized, so none of this is 100% for sure. But it does sound like the next stimulus check will probably have similar requirements as the first stimulus check. And one of the reasons for that is they want to get this next stimulus check out as fast as possible. Steve Mnuchin, the Treasury Secretary, has talked about the problems that happened with the first stimulus check and how it took a lot longer than they wanted to send out and many of you that are on my channel and watch my channel have not received your first stimulus check, so you understand that that is a problem. But they talked about trying to get this next stimulus check out as quickly as possible. If they keep the eligibility requirements the same for the second stimulus check, and I think that's a good possibility, then rolling out the second stimulus check is going to be much quicker because they already have all the information for those that they already sent checks to. In the HEROES Act, the House of Representatives allowed those that were claimed as dependents to receive $1,200 as well. I am hopeful, but I'm not positive that the next stimulus check will also include those that were claimed as dependents, because those that were 17 and up and claimed as dependents were completely left out of the CARES Act. They didn't receive the $500 bonus, and they didn't receive the $1,200 stimulus check because they were claimed as someone's dependent. I'm really hopeful that the next stimulus check will include those that were claimed as someone's dependent, especially those that are over the age of 17. I do think those eligibility requirements will be similar to the CARES Act, the first $1,200 stimulus check that went out. So what is the timeline for the next stimulus check? Well, there's some good news and maybe bad news, and let me do the bad news first. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy told CNBC that he doesn't expect Congress to pass the next round of stimulus by the end of July. So that's the bad news. The good news is he said, I envision that this bill doesn't get done by the end of July, but he did say that it will pass probably in the first week of August. So as long as it's done by that first week of August, then it will be done by the recess that the House and the Senate are going to be going on starting August 10th. While most people are talking about that recess as the reason for things to get done, and that is a reason for things to get done, most people aren't talking about the national conventions for the Democrat Party and the Republican Party. Both of those conventions are happening in August. There is no way the Democrats or the Republicans want to go to that convention and say, yay, we're still working on the next stimulus check. So that's one of my reasons why I think the next stimulus check will be passed before they go on recess, because neither of those parties wants to go to their convention trying to hype them up for the election and say, we weren't able to pass the stimulus check yet, but we're working on it. They want to say, look at this stimulus check we just passed. So the national conventions, I think, are the key to why they're going to pass this stimulus check before their recess. So the timeline for the next stimulus check is they should have it done by the August 7th deadline, the last day they're in session. And then after that, it should be between 2 to 3 weeks before the stimulus checks actually start going out. So the third thing I wanted to talk about is what are the other details that are being talked about in the stimulus package other than the direct check or the second stimulus check to individuals. First off, the Trump administration and Mitch McConnell have talked about payroll tax cuts. They wanted to use this as an incentive for businesses to hire people back again, and as well for those individuals that are working to receive more money in their pockets because they'd be paying less to taxes. The next thing that is being discussed is liability protection for hospitals, schools, and businesses. Mitch McConnell has talked about this multiple times and said that he wants liability protections against people suing hospitals, schools, and businesses so that the schools and hospitals can open back up without fear of being sued by those that might contract the virus. The next thing that's being discussed for the next stimulus package is extending the unemployment benefits that are set to expire in July. Those unemployment benefits were part of the CARES Act, and they were $600 per week, and people are receiving $600 per week extra on top of what their regular state unemployment is providing. The problem with that is some people are making more on unemployment than they were making at their regular jobs. And President Trump and the Trump administration, as well as Mitch McConnell, have said that they want to make sure that there is no incentive to stay not working, and they want an incentive to get back to work. The House of Representatives extended this unemployment benefit in the HEROES Act, which passed in the House of Representatives but then stalled in the Senate. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin has said that they don't want to give out any more than 100% of the income that people were making at their job, because that creates a disincentive for people to get back to work if they're going back to work and going to be making less money. I do think that people are wanting to get back to work, but if you're making more money not working, there's going to be a bit of an incentive to stay not working. So the next thing that's being discussed as part of the next stimulus package is a return to work bonus. And this bonus might include a one-time bonus of $600 per more, basically as an incentive for people to get back to work. Once again, I think most people that were working want to get back to work. They just want to get back to what they were doing before this pandemic happened and before all the lockdowns happened and shutdowns happened. But an extra incentive to get back to work would be a nice bonus for some people. One of the other things that's being discussed as part of the next stimulus package is funding for coronavirus testing. And I think as people are tested more and we know who's got the virus and who doesn't have the virus, then we can make more decisions on where to open up and where we need to maybe continue shutdowns and be more careful. California, Texas, and Florida have been seeing a resurgence of the coronavirus, and California is probably worse than they ever have been. They didn't really get hit very hard with the first wave of the coronavirus, but this time it seems like they're being hit pretty hard, and they've started shutting things down once again. And the last thing that I have that is being discussed as part of the next stimulus package is aid for local and state governments. The HEROES Act included a lot of funding for the state and local governments that are hurting because of the pandemic. However, those that are opposing this extra funding for state and local governments argue that a lot of these state and local governments were already hurting financially long before this pandemic hit, and that this would basically just be bailing them out for their own poor financial decisions. So there's kind of a disconnect there between the House and the Senate on sending money to state and local governments. There are a lot of state and local governments that are having financial problems right now, but the question is, do they want to send extra money to them or use it elsewhere that it might more directly benefit people? So those are the things that are being discussed right now as far as the next stimulus package. I know most of you are mostly wondering about the second stimulus check. In the next probably 2 days, we should hear the proposal from the Senate that's going to be discussed and deliberated over the next week or so. And they will be in discussions with the House of Representatives because they want the House of Representatives on board with their stimulus package because they want it to be passed quickly. The Senate and the House seem to be quite a bit apart on a lot of these extra issues, as well as the stimulus check itself. However, the Senate has come on board more recently, as Mitch McConnell and others in the Senate have said that they do want another stimulus check for individuals. President Trump wants more stimulus check for individuals, and the House of Representatives want more checks for individuals. So the next stimulus package should include a check for individuals, or the second stimulus check that all of you have been wondering about. This has been my stimulus check update for Tuesday, July 21st. Thank you once again for watching, and I will talk to you again soon.